Hello, everyone. Welcome to another scene for Sept of the Howling Winds, a Werewolf the Apocalypse venue set in San Diego, California. In this scene, we have a moot. Um, and as always, we will not go through the uh, very beginnings of the moot and everything that happens thus far, because that would take forever. We're not doing that. So we will pick up with the cracking of the bone, uh, and with everyone in the moot circle and the person leading the proceedings for this portion of the moot will be the uh, one of the sept betas, Sullivan Black.
Hmm. Yes, Sullivan has been leading the moot rites, and for the most parts. But eventually, as the cracking of the bone comes around, he will reach into a bag and he'll pull a bone out and he'll pass it over to the master of challenges of Philodox, Kieran O'Donovan, who is going to be taking over the proceedings from here, and he'll pass the bone over to the old Fianna, and he'll take it and he'll give him a nod, and he'll walk to the center of the gathered, and he'll speak the words of the ritual, and in a very crisp, clear, beautiful Irish accent, and he'll take the bone between two hands, lift it to the sky, and crack it. Uh, for those watching the proceeding, the bone appears to be from a boar for this ritual, a rib bone from a boar. And he'll say to the accumulated Garu, right now, we're going to be starting off with the highest in esteem among us. The floor will be passed over to our honored Alpha. And after that, members of the Sept, in accordance to rank, have the bone passed to them. If the bone is not in your hands, or you are not asking for it to be passed to you, you don't speak. It's that simple. You do so, you'll be breaking the accord, the ritual, and will be punished. So, to begin things, I'll offer this bone to our honored Alpha. Stares down the devil. Have you anything you wish to say? Stares down the devil, Rita.
She nods. I do.
And I'll nod respectfully to her and come forward and hold out the bone to her.
She'll take it and she'll scan over the assembled shifters because it's not just Garu present at this moot. I do have a few things to say. As the new alpha of the Sept, one thing that I've noticed that kind of takes away from everything is the focus on and seeming obsession with claiming mates around here. It almost makes it seem like the Sept is an episode of Days of Our Lives. I really don't want that. So if you are in a relationship with someone, that's fine, but it doesn't need to be howled out every other day. I'm done with that. The Sept is done with that. Date, marry whoever you want. People will find out about it. It doesn't need to be announced. Next is from here on out, any shifter is welcome to our moots and are held equally in esteem, which means they will not go last behind our Cleoths and Cubs. They will go in order of their equivalent rank. And we will no longer use the term Farah. I don't like that. It makes it seem like they are lesser than us. They're not. We are all shifters. We all serve Gaia. We really need to focus on that. So for this sept, we will no longer use the term Pharaoh, just shifters. And she pauses, kind of letting that all sink in.
When he sees that she is done speaking and the gravity of the situation has sunk in, Kieran will motion for the bone if she'll pass it.
Yeah, out of character, there was one more thing she had to say, but
Oh,
I
okay.
spaced it. If I remember it, she can say it later because
Lord,
I.
yes, she can. She's the alpha.
Uh huh. So, yeah, she'll say, uh, which that's honestly a good point to pass it because that was pretty
Yeah,
big. So,
yeah.
yeah, she'll pass it back.
He'll he'll take it and he'll say, for clarification purposes, stares down the devilry. The reason that people howl out the claimant of a mate is so that no one can challenge them. Are you saying that from this point out in the set as well, your mateship cannot be challenged?
She, I don't agree with the practice of challenging for a mate. It seems like it's not giving them agency over who they can and cannot be with. If you want somebody's mate, treat them like a normal person. It's people are not commodities. People can love who they want. The practice of challenging mates is archaic. Challenging for mates is archaic. So no, it won't happen anymore.
Thank you for your wisdom, Rhea. Just need to clarify that. And he'll raise the bone for who wants it next, and it is the High King. He'll raise his hand and say, "Yep," and I'll get up and take it. You know who I am. If you don't, that's on you, not me. I'm gonna say something,
Sorry,
and
that
it
was
might
out
be
of character.
upsetting. It might be upsetting. Although for some of you, it's definitely going to be a relief. But hey, here we are. I'm going to be traveling, and this is a pretty big announcement, and it's going to get out. But whatever, here we are. I'm going to travel to the celestial realm to seek the counsel of Mother Gaia. And the thing that I am seeking counsel on is the silver crown. I, even in my position, am not wild enough to assume to have more wisdom than Gaia. But we are reaching a point where the rulership of the Silver Fang and the nation under one crown may not be the way to go forward. I will not abdicate the throne if it can be taken from me by someone else who will sweep in and throw our nation, which is already precariously balanced, into chaos. If I give up the crown, it will be because there is no crown. Now, there's been a lot of talk around here about the elders stepping up and forming councils and people working together on the higher end, the great Jarl over there, Elias Nielsen.
Hang on, let me get his overlay up for people who haven't seen him. 1 second. There it is. All right, there.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect action, and I respect people who are willing to step up and be the leaders this nation needs. And, I'll be the first to say, God damn it, Luna gave the Silver Fang a mighty gift. I'm not going to stand in front of you and pretend not all Silver Fang. Anything like that. To be blunt, well, maybe some of us haven't. No. The fact is, maybe we haven't done the best job. And that needs to be said. And you need to hear it. And you need to hear that I will be the first one to step up and admit that if we are to stride forward as a nation, the crown, and he will hold up the silver crown, a silver circlet, beautiful and bright, may not be our symbol anymore. So I will travel to Gaia, and I will seek her counsel. But I wish to you to know that I was doing this. Mm-hmm. Hand the bone back to Kieran, whose eyes are fucking saucer wide. Thank you for your wisdom.
So the results of this on Elias's face, Mari Cabra's face, and Izzy's face are not one of surprise, but almost relief that he has decided to do this. So everyone else, though, their eyes are wide, like what?
Kieran will take the bone back and clear his throat. I'm going to give the king's wards a minute. A moment, please. And he does wait about a full 30 seconds. He just holds the bone up. Are there any
Elias
elders here?
holds his hand out for the bone.
He'll go and he'll give it to Elias.
He will look at everyone and he will say, for those who don't know who I am, don't know why you wouldn't, but whatever. I'm Elias Nilsson, deeded final breath. I am an elder of the Get Fenrir, and a Theurge, right master of the Sept, and also the great Jarl of the Get Fenris. I have stepped up and decided that during this time of change, the tribe needed guidance and direction. Honestly, so far it's been beneficial, but there has been great tragedy, and I am doing my best to make sure that things like what happened at the Sept of the Bloody Sands doesn't happen anywhere else. And that's all I wanted to. Also officially announce that Adelheid Trimbenson, deeded beheads the tyrant. Foster and Getafenris Arun is my protege. And he hands the boat back.
He takes it. I'm typing a question. I'm typing a question. He'll just look around for a moment. see if any of the other elders or of the such want to say anything. He'll look at Petrova, for instance. He'll shake his head. And then he notices Cassia raises his hand. He'll walk over and hand him the bone respectfully. I wanted to say, firstly, thank you to Stares Down the Devilry for your words. You honor us. And those here, us shifters, we will not forget your actions here today. I also thank you for what you have put forth involving the word Farah. This word belongs beside other words used to separate others in the past that I wouldn't even speak here for how rude it would be. So, this act of cooperation and consideration to our future working together honors all of us. And I thank you, my lady. He'll bow his head to her.
She'll bow hers back respectfully.
As a general announcement, I wish to say there was a place of power to the east of this set that had been long neglected, but had come back to our knowledge. I have claimed leadership of this cairn. I do not use the word of the Garu, nor do those that have, what small few of us have looked to it. We have other words for it, which in time we shall teach you. But for now, simply see me as the court master. I hope that in the future we can be allies. It was not an easy choice for me to assume to take upon myself the leadership of this sacred place. And I understand the gravity of the situation. I promise you here and now that I will do my best to not only die to protect this sacred space of Gaia, but to live every day with mind the responsibility of this great place. So, and he'll turn to the Alpha again. Though it did not come to pass that I was the leader of this land, and I am actually quite happy you are.
She gives a very soft smile.
I would formally like to extend hospitality and cooperation to you. From my home to yours. And he'll smile.
She'll smile back and she'll nod. She'll say, of course, it is my full intention to cooperate and she just nods.
And he'll smile. And he'll step back and hand the bone back to Karen, who shakes his head like he needs a drink after this fucking moot. Or 5 or 20.
Yeah, some of the more traditional Garu are kind of they're holding their tongues, but there are some tension. There's some tension.
Yeah, he says, sakes alive, I'll be blessed. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
He just rubs his face. He's got the bones, so he doesn't care to say it. And there any other elders who wish to make statements? Right then. Any of the Athro among us? Right. Going once. Okay. The Adrin. Any of the Adrin here wish to say anything? It's quiet Moot this time around, isn't it?
Everybody's like, nope.
Bye.
I mean, I'm a Clea.
He'll shake his head. And then I suppose any of you have anything to say. And Jesse will actually raise his hand. Jesse will just put his hand up. Wee, me, beep, beep. He'll roll his eyes. Of course you want to say something. I'll hand it to him. He'll just kind of stick his tongue in him when he turns his back. Hello. I'm Jesse Steele, the Den Father, one of the Den Fathers. Katana, Galliard, Miniskins, you know me. So here's the shit, actually. I want to apologize. I actually wanted to sincerely apologize. To Corey. Shameless troll. Hi. Oh, wave.
Corey looks very shocked at her coming up whatsoever.
The other day, when you named me, though I was very quick to judge someone for making a knee-jerk reaction, I had one myself, to be blunt. And it didn't occur to me that when you gave me the deed name, well, whatever, Coyote's Wisdom, you weren't insulting me. I took it as an insult because I'm an asshole. And I said some shit to you that honestly wasn't cool. And I was wrong. And you deserve to hear it. So I'm sorry that I took your words in offense. And I offer you my sincerest apology. And he'll actually throw it to her.
She just waves it off, like she looks uncomfortable at it. And she'll hold her hand out for the bone.
He'll give it to her.
You took it, right? You don't need to apologize to me. I had I have an opinion, and I stated it by giving you the deed name. And I'm still waiting for you to have that discussion with me about it.
I'll smile softly. Well, we'll meet up later. Don't worry. It's been a busy couple of days. He'll just roll his eyes like, oh God.
It's fine. I'm just saying, I'm not going to lie about it. I have opinions, and I don't have a problem saying them. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'm not going to apologize until I know I'm wrong.
Kieran, by the way, will hold his hand up as the master of challenge and the right master to do this, right? He's like the one person that can pull this shit off. He's like, you can, by the way, air them out right now, lass. This is the cracking of the bone.
I hadn't really planned on talking at all. I had planned on waiting until we could have an actual discussion. I didn't think it needed to be public.
Well, then if that's the case, then there you go. But just to point it out, the cracking of the bone can sometimes be used for such purposes, in case anybody needs that in the future. But if you two want to discuss it in private later, by all means, go on. You two done now? I'm gonna say softly.
She'll nod and just kind of hold up the bone.
Oh, we'll take it back.
She'll step back.
Okay, Foster and anybody else?
Veronica raises her hand.
They'll pass it over to her.
Veronica eyes everybody with a serious gaze. We have been having a lot of turmoil lately at this Karen, bickering among each other, not working together, or having individual packs working for personal renown. And at this point, we're not able to accomplish much with all this bickering. What are we to gain from this, and how are we accomplishing our purposes and our goals when we are too busy looking for personal ambition, fooling around, arguing about who has a right to a challenge, who has a right to walk among us? I'm not putting up with it. I wish to have you as my tribe, as my pack. One of our purposes, aside from fighting corruption with the Night Riders, is to improve SEP relationships. And in a few weeks, I have gotten permission from the warder to lead in dealing with the Thunderworm Karen, with a hive in it. I would like others to join me, knowing that various tribes would make a very strong impact, as well as their wisdom and their resources is valued. And as a Shadow Lord, I have no issue uniting you, so we could strike as one and give them a real reason to be terrified. If anyone has any questions on the plan with the Thunderworm, you may talk to Gabby, lifts the scale, bears the scale, Aldehyde, Lost Smile, or myself. There are other people that are working with us. We could go over these plans. She looks around, making sure that she makes her point across, though not staring people in the eye, but making sure, like, people understand the situation. And she looks at the one that was bearing the bone and gives it to them to pass to the next person.
Tyr takes it and takes a deep breath. Any of the other folks wish to speak? I'll look around. There's no one. Cleus, it's your time to shine. Any you want it.
Aiden will raise his hand.
I'll pass it over.
He'll come, take it, go in the middle. It has come to my attention and has been told to me, has been discussed already, that I have upset people here with my actions and my words. I have given apologies to people who were there and to people who I know I have upset. But to anyone else who lives on this set, who has been on the set, who is of the set, and who even has just passed by or is passing by, I would like to send a sincere apology if I have upset you. It was not my intention. I may not have lived knowing about the guru life, but the way I grew up was about as different to normal society as guru life is. I'm still learning to be normal. But that is not an excuse. So which is why I stand here today apologizing and giving sincere, my most sincere words to say that I will do my best to no longer act this way. And I'm not.
Kieran notices somebody softly waves. And he'll take the bone and pass it over. Jessica will step forward to him, actually. Jesse shifted over. So she walks towards him. Her face is dark but curious. And she'll actually stand in front of Aiden. And her brows kind of knit for a moment. And she'll actually hold her arms out to him.
Like for a hug? Or...
Mhm. Like a hug.
I'll come and hug her.
And she'll smile softly. Thank you. Thank you. And she'll give him she'll hold him for a moment. And she'll kind of squeeze his hand. And she'll let go of him and go back over to her people, to her pack. And Kieran just takes the bone back. I'm going to need something stronger than a drink after this, Moot. Any recommendations?
A lot of drinks? Jag säger det.
Oh, we're getting drunk. Right. Saoirse, you have to take me home, lass. Anybody else? Any of you Cleith want to say anything?
Arthur raises his hand softly.
He'll go over to him, give him the bone.
He takes the bone, bowing his head respectfully.
Not bad one.
And he then bows to the Alpha. I'm new to this sept, and new to all the people here. My previous home, in deep turmoil of change, as many of the people of Gaia are, and it warms my spirit to see that under our Alpha's guidance that there is a great deal of unity in the sept, a deal of unity that I have not seen in my previous experience. I understand that I am new, but I would like to formally and officially offer my assistance and any wisdom I've gained in the SEP's endeavors and efforts. I do not plan to be a wallflower. I plan to stand amongst you as he also looks to the shifters as a friend, as a brother, to help this sept and this cairn flourish. He sort of lets his words sort of pass, and then he slowly passes the bone back to the master.
Kieran will take it and say, "Thank you for your words, lad." Anybody else?
Johan. Hold his hand out.
He'll pass it over to him.
He'll take it and he'll say, so I just spent the last almost 8 years as a cub.
Soft laughed.
And finally became Cleith because I don't have to choose a tribe anymore. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for that change that was made. And I am able to move up in rank as I work to form the new tribe that me and a few others have decided needs to happen. There are certain people that don't feel like that they fit anywhere. And while, yes, you can now remain tribeless, there's still a sense of isolation in that until the nation moves past the need to structure ourselves in tribes. It's going to be necessary for camaraderie besides our packs. So just wanted to let everybody know that I am a Cleath now, finally, and still working hard on making sure that the Wardens of the Lost come to fruition. And he passes the bone back.
Kieran will take it. I had a question about your tribe you're trying to form, but I forgot what it was.
You can ask me later, it's fine.
I'm not. Bitch is so burnt out right now. My stories!
Right, though. God.
Any of you Kobe's got anything to say?
Well, Cora was gonna raise her hand for Clea.
Oh wait. Any Cleath? That's no, I'm sorry, I meant Cleath. Any other Cleath have anything to say?
Cora raises her hand.
I'll hand it to her.
She hobbles forward with her cane in her hand. And she looks like very nervous. Like was shaking, and she almost looks like she's on the verge of tears. And she squeezes onto the bone, like not breaking it, of course, but she's she's squeezing onto it. And then she looks up at everybody, turns her head, and says, I'm happy that things are changing. I'm happy that things can move forward. But I'm also terrified. I think everyone has a right to be terrified. And it may just be me, but change has affected my life. And it scares me. I saw all of my friends and family die. I gained new ones, yes. But I lost all of them on my previous set because of change. And I'm scared for the others who will have to feel the same thing I felt. The same pain and heartbreak. I never would have had the confidence to come forward and voice my opinions because I used to see myself as just another Metis. But it is a genuine concern of mine. I wish the world was perfect and that change didn't cause heartbreak and pain. But it does. And she'll slowly pass the bone back.
Veronica has a look like she wishes to speak if no one above her rank is going to say anything.
Kieran will take the bone and pass it to Veronica.
Cora, as I stated before, I'm willing to work with others. The Karen you were at was an extremist Karen, which was one of the reasons that you had other get offenders that were disgusted with that behavior, chose to act on it. Just like when I first got to this Karen, there was a Shadow Lord that did something I was disgusted with, and I chose to do something about it. This is a Karen where people will take action and do something and work together, as opposed to tolerating these things. Change is natural, and there are terrors that come with a storm that passes through. Well, at the same time, storms do bring good things. It allows new things to flourish and come. It's not about whether change is good or bad. It's about the changes you want and having the power to do something about it. I'm not tolerating any more of some of these discrimination. Something else that you have reminded me of, some of the treatment with metis, I'm not too keen on either, or the term metis itself. I find that even if they use it themselves, it's derogatory. I don't know what other term to use. I would wish to find a different term to use for them. I don't feel that you should, regardless that people have looked at as a crime, you shouldn't be living like there's no amount of way that you can make up for that. You're Garu, you're just as important as everybody else. Veronica just looks around and then passes the bone back.
Kieran will take it, and he'll say, I am sure a council of Galliards can be convened to discuss the terminology used to describe those that are born of Tugaru. Does anybody else wish to speak?
I have a tendency to talk too much, but I would like an opportunity.
You have a right to speak as per our arcane rights, please. I'll pass the bond to him.
As you can tell by my lively demeanor, I am a member of the No Moons, and we are known for being a little verbose, so I will try to keep my words as brief as possible. Change is going to happen. Change is something that my tribe is perhaps known for, so maybe I'm biased. Every change, whether it's good, he says looking over at Veronica, or bad, he says looking over at Cora, is painful. Our first change is often painful. Ripped from our lives, the world that we come from. Equally important is tradition. The Weaver is another force that is considered a natural part of our world, a part of Gaia's plan. Traditions are important. They create society. They bind people together. They give us a sense of stability. Conversely, so the worm too is part of that cycle. Old things have to sometimes end. Change sometimes has to be halted. How can anything be measured as new if there's nothing traditional left? I make that argument sometimes with my own tribe mates. There are some difficult times ahead of us. The High King has mentioned potential changing of how our society works. There are those who might fear that, who are frightened by that very notion. But I say that we have met greater challenges, greater changes in our history. We have reinvented ourselves. We have adapted with the times. Every step painful, with lost lives, kinfolk, Guru, shifters in general. I know there are probably some present here who are of higher station than myself, who have concerns about these changes. There are probably some who would be considered my peers who have similar thoughts on the matter. And I promise you there will be plenty of pain and hardship that comes from whatever decisions, whatever repercussions come down from all of this. However, we are Guru. We are shifters one and all. We are all, to borrow a phrase, children of Gaia. So I say that we should be facing this, that we should embrace the changes. Treat them as perhaps the same way we treat a challenge for rank. A part of our society and something to be embraced. He will then hand off the bone and go back to sitting.
Kieran will take it. Kieran is a very stalwart man, but people can see he's tense right now. He's holding himself together for the right, doing fine. There's nothing in that regard, but you can definitely see a tightness to his jaw, a little bit of sweat kind of on his brow. He's trembling a little bit. Although he's not faltering through the processes of this rite because, oh my God, no, he's done it so many times. It's become memory. He's definitely probably one of the elders that Zhang Li mentioned involving change. And he'll take a deep breath, but he is also trying. He is processing it. And he'll clear his throat and center himself again. Are there any other among the Cleath that'd like to say anything? Are there any among the cubs who wish to speak?
Emery's gonna raise his hand.
He'll go over to him and he'll hand him the bone.
He'll stand and I don't have a whole lot to say in regard to the changes that have been made, except that I'm glad that people who are shifters aren't to be discriminated against anymore. Finding out that my son is going to be a shifter, that's extremely comforting to me to know that he won't have as many troubles to go through. But I had a question, a favor. I'm looking for people who are mechanically inclined to help me with a project for Cora's leg. I guess just see me afterwards. And hands him back the bone.
I'll take it. You heard the man. If you're mechanically or spiritually inclined, I imagine, in such ways, please seek out Emery. Anybody else? He'll look back at Izzy.
Yeah, she's waiting to see if anybody else wants to speak, and if not, then she'll hold her hand out for the bone again.
He'll hand it to her.
I would like to expand upon what has been said about change. I know it isn't easy. I have seen quite a few changes in my time, but none as grave as the changes that have been happening quite rapidly to our society within the past few months. Well, I can't speak for anyone outside of our sept and the vicinity. I can speak for this one. Anyone who tries, come and get revenge or what have you because they don't agree with the changes we're making, will definitely have to deal with the repercussions. I will do everything in my power to protect every single person residing on the sept, every shifter, every changeling, every kinfolk, every whoever is here. All are welcome, but only if they are willing to work cohesively with everyone. And I will lay down my life for each and every one of you. And then she'll say, and there was one more announcement that I wanted to officially make. I did make a howl about it, but I will make it again that Veronica strikes with lightning, Queen of Cats, Stormborn, is my protege. I am teaching her not only what I know as a Galliard, what I know as a Shadow Lord, what I know as a Garu. Imparting my knowledge to someone else is something that I've always liked to do. She kind of looks pointedly at her beta, Sully.
He blushes.
So, so the words that she speaks are also mine, and I support them. And yeah, she's finished. She will hand the bone back.
She'll take the bone. Anybody else? Anyone? Thank heaven. He'll raise it and he'll crack it the rest of the way. He'll break the bone. Finishing the rite. And he'll just hold them in one hand. I release you now from the rite of the cracking of the bone. You may go on to the rest of the sept. Time for songs and stories and whatnot to commence. Amen, I guess. He'll just wave his hand and go back to his wife.
His wife, who is the tail singer and is going to be leading the next portion of the moot. Oh, is this the right one? Yes, that's the right one. Okay. So, Saoirse. Saoirse, who is pregnant, very visibly so, looks like that she is. She's been through a lot today, and being pregnant on top of it, she looks kind of done, but she will press on because she is strong and passionate and stubborn, resilient, all of those things.
She'll just grab her shoulder and be like, "Go get him, baby. You got it. Be a stronger man than me." High five her.
So she'll kind of, whoever has gathered for stories and songs, I imagine a lot of Galliards. She will address them and she'll say, I do see a lot of new faces, so I will go ahead and give myself an introduction to all of you. I am Saoirse O'Donovan, screams the huntsman's fury. I'm an Adrian, daughter of Stag, born under the gibbous moon on 2 legs, and I am the tale singer of the sept. And Liam in the background is like, yes, thank fuck. I don't have to be the tale singer anymore. So, I don't really have a proper tale prepared, but I do have some things to say about change. I have a lot of personal experience with it, as I imagine a lot of us do. But there was a point in my life where everything was changing all at once, and I almost felt like I was getting left behind. And now I imagine that a lot of the elders and even younger that are more traditional are feeling like that right now. And the only words that I can offer is that it does get better. You will catch up. You will endure. You will survive. I have. I have changed my worldview more than I ever thought I would. She kind of pats her belly.
Kieran just fists in the air.
I married another girl, having a menace, but I'm happy.
Kieran blushes.
And right now, with everything else changing, the feeling of getting left behind is almost there again. But I know from my personal experiences that I can get through it and I can catch up. And so can the rest of you. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There always is. You just have to find it. And I will now open the floor to the other Galliards, whoever wants to share stories.
The minute her voice stops and it's polite, Jessica puts her hand up like, me, I go, and she gets up. Yeah, me, I have a story. Just skip up. Hi, I am Jessica Quartermain. Coyote's wisdom, Coyote's daughter, whatever. She kind of flips her hand. Coyote's daughter, Coyote's number, cut it on the miniskins. Hi, sure. So I'm going to tell you a story. And it's actually about changes, but not a good one. No, not a good one, actually. I'm going to tell you the story of a great hero of the nation. And his name is Hand of a Seer. Well, it was, at the time at least. His name was Hand of a Seer. You see, Hand of a Seer, back when he was in Sept, Fenbroken Court in Florida, he was always the first to lead people into the fight, no matter what the fight was, with fists, with words, with their hearts. Always. I recall this one time, I was young, I was still a cub. Oh, well, though I was a cub for a long time, where a Mokale, from a nearby place of their power, he came forward and he spoke to us in dire warning, saying that spirals were picking at and going to ambush their nest. Of course, the Sept of Octana and Fenrir were quick to mount for a fight. But a seer, Hand of a Seer, he had suspicion. He felt something was off. He went to the council and he spoke of his thoughts. He said, his words, they don't add up. There's an insincerity to them. I know in my heart this isn't right. He doesn't speak of defending his home as we do. as I do. But they weren't quick to believe him. But that didn't stop him. He knew there was great risk in accusing one of being of the worm, but he didn't back down. When the Mokale returned, Asir stepped forward, and with the power of the Philodox behind him, questioned him. Passion in his voice, fire in his eyes. He didn't stand a chance. He was unmasked as a spiral so fast. A spiral whose intentions were to lead his hive to ambush us. The Mokale nest had already fallen. It's a fate we could have suffered. But we didn't. Because Hand of Asir knew in his heart that his words were insincere. But change came. As Hand of Asir grew in his glory and wisdom, one day his packmate died. And with him, a part of Asir died too. It is as though Hand of Asir crawled into his coffin with him. And as time has passed, I have watched my hero change. And not for the better. I was ready to give up hope. But another Fenrir spoke to me and reminded me that the light that he had inside of himself has not gone out. So as you challenged that spiral, that day that I remember so clear, Hand of Asir, I challenge you today, not in the formality and ways of our people, but in my heart. I beg you, remember the hero you were. Stop clouding your mind and your heart. Let us follow you into this bright future because we need you now more than ever. I retract your deed name and reinstate you as Hand of Asir. My tale is done. Hopefully yours is not. And she'll step down.
Out of character, whoever wants to go next is free to.
If nobody else has one, I have one.
Go ahead.
Veronica shifts into Kierno's form, and she seems to have something wrapped in some type of cloth that nobody can see. As she goes over, I like to tell the tale, the Tirza Pele. Across the seas from this Karen, on the remote islands of Hawaii, there were some local Gairu charged to protect the grounds of Pele. It was a mixture of various Gairu tribes, but predominantly Uktena and Children of Gaia. There was another group of shapechangers that wanted to work with them. however not as trusting the Rokea. The Rokea want to lay certain terms down in order for them to regain the trust of the Garu, who are been renowned to believe that they are above them. And to everyone's dismay, the Garu really did nothing. They talked the talk, but did nothing about this. Even various other shape changers have seen this and were disappointed as things have escalated. The shark shifters had enough and confronted the Garu and left one message. If they do not change their ways, they will have to leave the Karens. And none of the Garu chose to listen. The Karen at one night was besieged. The grounds burst open as a group of black spiral dancers came out and attacked the local Garu. They attempted to fight back, but they just couldn't deal with the numbers on their own, as they noticed even other Karens were falling to these attacks of the spiral. The gravity of the situation was worse because not only were the Garu losing numbers, they couldn't protect the grounds of Pele. Their family and kinfolk and children, as she throws a Raggedy Ann doll at people's feet, were dropping like flies, being slaughtered limb from limb. It was only then, when Pele was on the ground, crying, realizing that her time on this earth was up, that one of the other shape-changers, the Rokea, came. And they did not discriminate against any of the Garu, since none of them listened to their warning. So they killed all of them. Mostly that the Garu there cared about having territory rather than the dying totem that was fading away from this earth. As Pele cried at this point, her voice carried as a beacon of light. Some new Garu that were visiting the area, outsiders to the shores of Hawaii, saw this. They took the forms of wolves and rushed to the scene, seeing the aftermath of the carnage. Blood, smell of death, bodies everywhere, and a weeping woman. The only comfort that that woman got was Gabby holding on to her in her last few moments before she drifted away from this plane as Veronica backs away into the shadows.
Cora looks at the Raggedy Ann doll and picks it up.
Yeah, Sullivan will shake his head and blink.
If no one goes in the center, they can will.
The Sully looks like he is going to do something, but he will wait for Galliard because he's with the urge.
And he'll smile, and he has a glance towards Cora. Say, there is the guru here who, despite of having been here very shortly, I think has changed greatly, and in a positive way. She may be still growing, but I think Cora Petrov is the name. Child of Lilies, well, it is a beautiful name that something. See, she is slowly changing as into someone who is no longer a child. She's growing into a woman. More than that, she is growing into a mother, someone that is there for people, someone that cares for people and who makes people feel important. It is why I want to give her the deed name Mother's Arms.
Cora's crying.
There is also a story I want to tell, which I think fits with what's going on here. The hopes, but also fear and darkness. When the people created this world, and well, there were people who they were happy they had created the world. It was about to start, and well, their manager came. And Jose, as he is kind of smart, he says manager. He said, well, the manager wanted a few changes. He smiled, and the manager wasn't the best guy around. He wasn't the nicest guy. And he smiled and said, okay, so right now everybody's perfect and everybody is happy, right? And the guy said, yes, that's how we made the world. And he smiles and goes, okay, let's make a change. Everybody likes chocolate, right? And yeah, everybody likes chocolate. And goes, okay, how about we make it that if you eat too much chocolate, it's not good for you. You have health problems and you become fat. And the people who created the world, they were kind of upset that it's the boss, it's the manager. So they said, okay. And then he thinks, oh, what about alcohol? Alcohol. People like drinking, right? Yeah, people like drinking. Well, what about if you drink too much alcohol? Alcohol kind of has, it kind of messes with your brain a bit, and you can't think as well, and your brain is just slower, and oh, and you know what? It will make you fat too. Fat, and the guy, well, guys created the world were upset again, but just went along with it. And then there was smoking, and he said, people like smoking joints, they like smoking tobacco. And they smiled and said, yes. He says, well, what about if you if you smoke too much, it messes with your health, and you can't breathe as well, and your lungs are affected. And again, people were upset, but they just went along with it. And says, oh, what about sex? People like having sex. But what about if you have sex? If you have too much sex, or if you have sex the wrong way, or what if you can get diseases? And people were not happy. But they made the change. If you have sex, you have diseases. And this is when one of the guys who created the world had enough and said, enough, you're making stupid changes. They make no sense. Why are you making them? And his friend, yes, goes, calm down, they're the boss. They're the one that asked us to make life. He says, yes, but they're making life unlivable. And the boss wasn't happy, clearly. He says, yes, well, we can't take it easy on them. We can't make them happy all the time. They have a war to fight. And the people made the world, the creators of the world, nodded. They understood. And then the other one, not the one that opened his voice first, but the other one said, okay, we'll go along with your plan, but I want to make one more change. And the boss just sighs and goes, okay, go ahead. And so he looked at his friend and said, we'll give people hope. That way, the world that we wanted, as he looks to his friend, will still exist. It will be in people's heads, and it will be in people's hearts. I think this is why, as much as life can be hard, as much as it can seem that everything is going down and everything is against us, if we try really hard, we can still have hope.
Applause.
With that, I want to give another name out to Jesse. I give the name Hope's unyielding voice.
He blinks, blink, 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 and smiles and nods.
Now, before I leave, I would like to sing a song. And he'll start singing Hey Brother by Avicii.
So after he finishes singing, Sully is going to smile at him, and he'll look around and he'll look at Saoirse. Like, you mind if Theurge takes your floor for a minute?
No, go. Oh wait, does he
Saoirse, yeah, he says Saoirse.
Okay.
And but he did that. You're muted, by the way. But he did ask Saoirse if it was okay if a non-Galliard could take the floor for a minute.
I think she said, "Be right back."
Why? Jesus God, why? Well, I know it's okay. So, so he'll get up and I'll say, God, fuck me, hasn't this been a serious moot? It has. And you know what? I really hate to add to the gravity of the situation, but I'm your beta now, so you're gonna have to indulge me. And he'll kind of go into his coat pocket and he'll pull out a napkin, a soiled napkin. He'll kind of unfold it delicately. I have a list of rules for you guys. As your beta. Sarcastic, not sarcastically, just kind of like, it's clear he's starting into a comedy routine. And he'll hold his pinky up and he'll say, "Let me clarify, this is an old Gory joke." You've been warned. So as your beta, I have a list of rules. So as your beta, I have a list of rules to pass along to the Sept. These are not to be abused. So, as a people, must not hump humid legs anymore, especially not Black Furies. Must not sniff butts while in Hamid anymore, especially the Black Furies. Taken the Forgotten does not get rid of STIs. Awaken your rubbers, guys. It's called Taken the Forgotten, not Taken the Gorgeous Kinfolk, for a reason. Just because the spirits gave me Open Seal does not mean I have to use it on the Alpha's clothes at the Moot. Or the Beta's pants. He'll zip up. Because the Arwen can do it doesn't mean you can. Leaving clown dolls all over the bond isn't funny. No, one of you actually. What kind of point? You are no longer allowed to use Trash Magnet on anyone from the Sept, especially the Fenrir. Create Element. I cannot repeat this enough. It bears repeating. Is not to be used as a cigarette lighter or an emergency shower.
Cora covers her mouth, chuckling.
Since hot dog vendor is not a Gaian gift. There is
Moon whimpers.
there is such a thing as a worm-tainted hot dog. He burped gently. Having heightened senses does not make you Daredevil, even if you're blind.
Bailey looks at Saul.
Spirit of the Fray does not make you the Flash. And this one, the final rule. which is the gravest of all, you must not mark territory. While in Hamid.
Asir kind of gives a guilty smile.
He kind of crumbles up the napkin, puts it in his pocket. This, I say, is your beta. Hear my words. Thumbs up.
So mote it be. Oh.
He'll walk off the area. It seems as though that may have been the stipulation to a challenge.
That's great. Any other PCs wish to speak? Well, nobody else. So Dazzles is gonna come up. She looks a little nervous. She closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, and she'll say, "I really hate to bring down the mood after that. That was great."
Thumbs up.
But I'm sure by now most of you, if not all of you, are aware of what has happened to me recently. And I wanted to share this story. It's not easy for me to share it, but I think that it needs to be told. And maybe can inspire and serve as a cautionary tale as well. The premise of me telling this story is mostly the moral, well, kind of air quote that, of it is to be careful about who you let influence you. Sometimes it's easy to overlook the wrongdoings of those that you love. I was recently deemed how do I put this? Irredeemable. That things that I had done wasn't forgivable. And as a result, I was skinned alive. And I survived. I wanted to die because that living through that is not something that I would wish on anyone ever. I had to wait a while after I was released to be able to begin to heal. I had spent all of my gnosis, all of my rage, all of my willpower. So I had to rest, had to wait with no skin, feeling like I was worthless, that I wasn't worth anything, that I wasn't worth the skin that I was in. And I fell to Hirano. And I had been being taken care of by, honestly, most members of the Sept. The person that did it to me was shown that that behavior was okay by someone that he looked up to, saw as not just a mentor, but a father figure. And that person used to be my best friend. He was supposed to be my best friend. And he betrayed me in probably one of the worst ways you could betray somebody. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath. His voice is thunder, Theoden steel. Though he was the one that performed the deed, I do not hold him responsible for what happened. He did make his choice, yes. But had he not had the example he had by someone who thought it was okay to influence somebody that way? She shakes her head. I don't think he would have done it. He wasn't that kind of person before. It's easy to fall into behaviors, especially set by somebody much older and supposed to be much wiser than you. Be careful. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Listen to yourself. I was fortunate enough to survive. And it's taken me a while to be okay. I'm not. Okay isn't the word. She shakes her head because I'm not. I won't be, probably for a while, but I'm better than I was. And honestly, if it hadn't been for those that do care about me coming to visit me, talking with me, telling me that I am worth something, that I'm worthy of love, respect. I'm an Athro of the nation, and I was treated like I was nothing. So I'm grateful for those who reminded me that I'm not nothing, that I am something, someone, and I'm worthy. And so are each and every one of you. You're worthy of respect, basic human dignity. Don't let anyone try and strip your agency away. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you think someone above you is abusing their power, go to someone above them or equal rank. Challenge them, even. It's worth the renown loss. If they're too far above you or below you, don't let it get to the point where you feel like you deserve to be treated the way I was. Because no one deserves that. And now I have a good family, friends. I'm grateful for the new beginnings. But I am sad for how I got there. I wish that it hadn't been that way. But it was. We all go through things that make us stronger in the end. And if I can go through that, you all can go through anything. And she'll step away. She's done. That took everything she had to go to Tolia.
Yeah, he'll immediately wrap his arms around her and pull her in and smile at her and kind of nuzzle her face.
I think we'll smile at her. And before we end this, he'll get back up. Okay, so before everyone here just goes back home, I'd like to, after everything that's been said here, and after a bit what our the bait of the subject and lighten the mood. So if you have a few jokes back here, some of you, most of you know, I'm from another sept. I was from the sept of the green. Back when I was a cub, my cub father, the den father, came to me once and said, "Are you even listening to me?" And I think that's a really weird way to start a conversation. And four guys are hanging out. One of them says, "Hey, did you know that 1 out of 4 guys is gay?" And Larry says, "I hope it's Chuck because he's really cute."
The beta cracks up.
Oh, what do you get when you mix goat DNA and human DNA? Nobody?
The beta will just be like, "What?"
Kicked out of the petting zoo.
Woo!
2 men are on the opposite sides of the river. The first man shouts out, "How do you get on the other side of the river?" The second shouts back, "You are on the other side of the river, idiot." And one last one. Mickey Mouse gets a phone call from his lawyer and says, "Listen, I understand you're upset, but Mickey, I'm sorry, you just can't divorce Minnie because you think she's crazy." And Mickey goes, "I didn't say she was crazy. I said she was fucking goofy." He'll smile.
That's the sound to crack up.
And yeah, he'll smile and says, "There. Just thought I'd lighten the mood."
Sullivan will get up next to him and he says, "I have another rule to add to my list of rules. Don't do that." And he'll kind of clap Aiden's chest.
He'll smile and laugh.
He'll kick his butt as him to like move, like go that way, like playfully. And they'll kind of look left and look right and skirt off like, "I'm not a galliard." Actually, Sully will kind of look at Alyssa, and he'll look at the shy little fucking huge elder next to her. He'll be like, "Do we get a tale from the legendary Garu, the legendary Galliard this moot?" And he buries deeper into her. Like, "No, not this time. No." And he'll smile at him.
Cora bats her eyelashes over at Talia, like, "Please, for me."
He looks at her like, "What?" And then he'll look at Alyssa like, "What?"
Go on. Tell a tale.
Veronica raises one eyebrow at him, like the same way she did earlier.
Just kind of like, why do you want to hear a tale from me? Sorry, that's Albert. I told you. He's like, all right, because I'm a legendary galleon.
Dazzles will shift herself from Talia over to Cora. Hold me.
She holds her mama so close.
Get up. Scratch the back of his head. Go fuck. Gotta do this, huh? Hi. Is this thing on? Right, I'm talking. I don't often actually tell tales. And he'll think for a moment. Actually, I have a tale. I have a tale. When I was a younger Garu, I had a packmate who was very close to my size, and he and I would sometimes swap clothing, as I was the only person in the pack who could fit a clothing size similar to him. Fenrir, he was a Modi, an Aru. And one day, he borrowed a pair of my blue jeans, and he went about the house. He was doing things as he did, and my wife, who was a Bubasti, she stopped, as though something had gotten her attention. Her eyes went wide, big, like saucers, big green saucers, and she wheeled around, and she began to stalk the Fenrir. And he, in fear, watched her melt up to her saber cat form. This primal beast, long fangs, black fur. It's beautiful. For a moment, even though he was a mighty warrior, great Fenris, he knew fear. And he fell back. And in terror, he watched as she proceeded to tear the pants from him. She shook her head mightily, fabric ripping, the Fenrir screaming. I think she actually caught a bit of his skin, leaving a gash on his thigh. And out from the pocket flew a small bag. It hit the floor, burst open, and the cat rolled around in the catnip. As the Fenrir sat there panting, bleeding from this encounter. And the Ragabash of our pack looked at our packmate, and he said, "You know what the moral of the story is, right?" And he said, "What is the moral of the story?" And he said, "Never, ever get into the alpha's pants." And he'll shrug. So I found that to be a very wise lesson. And since we're telling jokes, he'll go and sit back next to Dazzle. Like, storytelling is not my strong suit, and I just proved it. And walk down. That is not why he is a legend. Sullivan just looks at him like, that seems like you were holding something back that would have made it funnier, and I'm going to find out later what it is. And he gives him the hugest grin, like, of course I was.
Cora smiles and hugs both her mama and papa.
He'll nuzzle her and whisper something into Cora's ear. We can go on, but he does whisper something into Cora and Dazzle's ear.
Nice.
The actual punchline. He got too shy to say the punchline.
Aww. So, yeah, Saoirse will go back up and will. Anybody else have any stories they'd like to tell?
No! Petrova says.
No. No. All right. The legend has spoken. Stories and songs are over. Proceed to the final form of the moot. She cracks herself up with that. Yes, this is my final form. Which is challenges and revelry. Kind of shoos everybody away. Shoo, go. So there is one challenge.
That's, by the way, the punchline to you and Cora. That he falls out of saying.
So you probably see Cora and Dazzle like dying and hugging each
They're
other.
dying. They're dying. Like Daz needed that so badly.
You know the punchline.
He blushes deeply at them and looks away.
Dazzles will whisper it to him.
Thank you.
Like this is what he said.
I'll tell you what it is after game, guys.
So yeah, so the next portion, Seeker. Right though.
Oh, you couldn't say it. I'm sorry.
Seeker goes to find Selenia.
Selenia, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'll generally look in her direction, smelling her. Like, oh, hi. What? Excuse me. There he is.
So she goes up to him and Hamid, and says, "Hello. Visions of madness, Raya."
He'll look in her direction and say, Seeker of the Ancient Ways. Hello.
I wanted to take this formal opportunity to challenge you for the rank of Foster.
Oh. I have my deed for you.
Oh, okay.
I do not forget. Do you want me to type it to you super quick just to make sure it's okay?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I do not forget that you used to once be an Adran. And that although you are young to our ways, in rank, you are not young to our life. So I have no doubt that you can accomplish this task, though it will be a challenge.
Of course.
I want you to find and redeem and return to the Sept, a Black Spiral Dancer. of no lower rank than Athro, of their people.
I accept the challenge. Will be done.
And he'll nod to her.
She actually tears up just a little bit because, like, fuck, it's what she was exiled for. Trying to retain the Black Sparrow Dancer.
He's heard the tales. That's why he did it.
So yeah. So,
Calyx is nodding.
The beta. Well, the beta. Not you're not the beta, bruh.
no, not
Go
the
away.
beta. Not
I
the
love
beta.
you. You're not the beta. The beta. The beta. We'll kind of hear Kieran scream. Is this goddamn thing over yet? Take that moment to decide. It actually probably is a good time to wrap up the goddamn movie.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have any out of character. I have nothing else. That was it. So
he'll take up position, and I'll say, although there are definitely things to be done and had for the rest of the night, the formalities of our moot are now to completion. So mote it be. And he will break the rite and finish it. And he'll take off his tie and unbutton the top button on his shirt, like, fuck me dead. Walking away. If every moot's like that, I swear to God. He goes back to his path. Is that a good place to end our scene?
I think so.
Are you going to do the outro, or do I?
I can do the outro. It's fine. So, this concludes another big moot in this fucking game. Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. We will see you next time. Bye bye.